want to watch that one too. It reminds me of me and Ooch, man. Me and Brian Hall. We used to go around in the Maxima and put on the Still Pulse. Still Pulse was one of our favorites. Still Pulse, Maxi Priest, Eddie Santiago, Gloria Estefan. We were very into Switch too. Yeah, and then the Bee Gees. Fanny be tender with my love. You know how easy it is to hurt me. Yeah, that was one of our favorites. But one of our best was, they used to laugh at us because they thought we were hilarious. Me and Brian be driving around in the Maxima, both of us with a fist out the window, right? And singing, Marcus say Marcus say, red for the blood that flowed like a river. Marcus say. What was it? Yellow for the gold that they no, how would it go? Okay, Marcus say, red for the blood that flowed like a river. Marcus say, yellow for the gold that they stole, and black for the people they looted from, green for the land, Africa. I haven't heard it in a long ass time. Well, because it's propaganda, militant tribalism, and when I was young, I was dumb. I was raised in the Mesilla Valley, and I was raised on a bright summer's day, and stuff. Viva la familia, So I've had a lot of, it's very confusing. And when we moved and there was a lot of things I think that were manipulated to try to manipulate a narrative to put me into the tribalism and where they wanted me to, who they wanted to kill and how they wanted to kill them. When we went for New Mexico and all the tribalism and bullshit I had to put up with there, we went to Washington State and in Washington State and other parts of Phoenix and stuff like that. For a long time there, I became very angry towards white people, because of the tribalism and the racism, especially up in Washington. That one guy, there's not a nigger in a speck within 100 miles from here. That's why I live here. And Nathan Hogue says, well, what's with me? She was funny. A bunch of teenage kids running from a bunch of drunk bigots in a bar. We had, my life is better than fiction. It's better than a '70s show. When I look at '70s shows, like that's a lot like me and the kids up in Colville. The Silk Signals, that's a lot like me and the kids in Colville. And there's so many things that are very popular and famous that are some of the better shows and stuff that are like, oh my gosh, that's like from my life, like American History X. Only I'm more amazing, I was way more amazing than Edward Norton's character. When I'm way better at sports, okay. I was never a Nazi, okay. And protected people from bullies and didn't go to jail, didn't kill anybody, and scared them all shitless. Yeah. My story, Amy watched American History X. It's like, I was trying to explain to her, no, you're married to the guy who's like Edward Norton, only he's a way better basketball player, way more talented, way more charming, funnier, way funnier, And then we'd watch like movies like, what was the name of that movie? What do you think you got? You got what you think you got what was the name of that one? Was it The Score? With De Niro and Angie Bassett, and the dude who wasn't Arnold Joseph in that movie? Wasn't he? I think so. Okay, so yeah. What about your dad? What about your dad? Right? And so I'm watching some of this movie. It's called what's the name of this? Yeah, you're watching it, going, okay, it's almost like High School Musical and shit. Do you trust your boyfriend? Yeah. Okay. And you watching this and going, okay, guys. Yeah, I was watching Sergeant Preston of the Yukon. It was better than this. But early sitting there watching the TV and watching this stuff go on. Okay. All you need to do is just stand up for forgive, debt, and trespass and love one, eternal faithful peace. And all this bullshit comes to an end. It's like the magic elixir. This is 2021, right? This is the year after COVID. And they're putting this crap on TV, And the one little brown girl, nice legs, right? A lot nice legs, low self-esteem. Okay. Zang, right? Okay. Low self-esteem? Yes. You don't stand up for a Lord's Prayer. You think you need wealth and money to promote your sexuality? That's low self-esteem. Stand up for a Lord's Prayer. Balance, harmony, and understanding. Excellent self-esteem, right? If you're going to have a self-esteem, make sure that it's based off of something that's valid and meaningful and eternally perfect, right? So cute girls on there, okay, but zilcho on self-esteem. Cute guys too, with the people in the film crew and the makeup and everything, zilcho self-esteem, right? Self-esteem comes from, okay, true understanding of nature of self and value of what is necessary to sustain self. Okay, that's self-esteem, right? Self-esteem, right? No self-esteem. I watch you guys on TV. These people have no self-esteem. Everything is an external locus of control. No internal locus of control. It's fucking crazy. And maybe it's, you know. And the nice thing is when, okay, we are using these devices to share the eternal perfection of the Messiah. Okay. Overnight, you know, little Indian boys named Victor disappear. Sundance film festivals. Oscars no longer, they gave to me a little golden statue for the torch that I carried for you, dear. They said no one else could come close to me, and I was the big fool of the year. Good song, isn't it, though? But the thing is, it'll be a limerick from long days ago. It's like, God, that was so sad. He would go everywhere at Tam Rynette, and then they'd go these places, and the hotter politicians and the hotter football players would hit on his wife, and then they'd get in a fight, and he'd have, quote, low self-esteem, and he'd screw it up. They said old weasel face would screw it up, and it was hard for him. She was very attractive, and he wasn't as physically attractive. A lot like Billy Joel with Christy Brinkley, right? And he'd get drunk, and he'd get upset. You're like, that's depressing. Yeah, you know, like Leonard worrying about Zach taking Penny if he worked for her, you know, stuff is you're going to lose her eventually. So you might as well that's horrible, right? What a horrible way to live. It's like you're sleeping every night with a little pebble, with a boulder that's going to come and roll you over. Any day now, I will hear you say goodbye, my love. And then my wild, beautiful girl driven. And then all these people, well, you married women that weren't nearly as attractive and athletic and talented as you were. What do you got against Steffi and Amy? Law was asthmatic, so she wasn't nearly as athletic as I was, right? So I was supposed to marry Jennifer Lopez, right? Because when we were equally attractive, equally talented, best dancers, one of the best singers, best thespians, okay, best athletes. I don't know, is Jennifer Lopez as good of an athlete as I was? I mean, she ran track and won some races. But she wasn't the fastest human being on the planet, and she couldn't jump higher than everybody else, and she didn't have Bruce Lee abilities that when anybody threw a knife at her that she could go and then go, wow, and somebody comes up and punches her in the face, you don't even feel it to protect women from sexual assault, right? So are you sure she's my wife? Don't you think my wife is the woman that jumped off Wudang Mountain to save us all? This is funny, I know. So, and my immune system, you know, last night when got up with the runs and everything, cleaned up, and Suzuki talked me through it, turn on the thing, that's okay, wash off, you know, you're up. I said, okay. It's cleaning out. He goes, they compromise your immune system, your body just goes, and it's getting the stuff from the vaccine out faster. They're not doing me any favors, trust me. You forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. The ecosystem heals radically. I don't feel the pain and the suffering and the toxic abuse and murder of my mother, my sister, my nephew. Okay. My poor nephew plays to a comic book character he refers to as Jesus, and he thinks I'm some crazy, whacked out, egotistical pervert. Okay. And he's married to Melissa, one of the sweetest, well-intended girls that's a lot like Natalie, you know, sit and explain it to her and go, no, everybody says it's like this. Yeah, but if everybody said that guy over there is gravity, does that make him gravity? If there's 2 million of them and only one of you. Okay. Hey, like I did with poor Melissa when we sat there and we talked about Disney movies and we talked about The Hunchback of Notre Dame. She said, well, yeah, I liked it, but gypsies were real bad people. It's like, you do know that's propaganda. People are people. There's good and there's bad people, okay? Like Tupac said about gangs and cops, right? You know, you have a gang that you live with to survive, and some of them are good people trying to survive, and some of them are complete assholes, just like police officers, right? Same thing. If you judge a book by its cover, then you judge the look by the lover. That's a look, the look of love, right? When Smokey sings, who wants to be a millionaire? Not me. I want to live the Lord's Prayer. Orale, there you go. Okay. Do you trust your boyfriend? Okay, guys? All right. Well, I love you very much. Heartbeat, why do you skip when my baby kisses me, right? Have you ever heard that song? Yeah, I love Buddy Holly too. Okay, guys, I love you very much, man. Let's load this up. We'll probably talk later tonight. Well, I'm good at talking because I'm an excellent listener. If you're an excellent listener, you might be good at talking someday too. Just hang in there. Maybe you'll grow up someday. All right. Love you.